What has Circular meant to you over the past several months? Hi, this is Jared, currently serving as president at Circular. And as leadership and council, we have committed to sharing quarterly updates about where we stand as a community and where we stand financially. And so I wanted to share a bit about that today. When I think about the past quarter, there are a few things that come to mind. Wonderful moments where we have celebrated baptism together, we've brought new members into the church, and we've remembered dear ones together. I'm also thinking about special moments like guest lecturer Taya Miles coming and sharing with us. And I'm also really thinking about the political moment we're in, where time that we spend together as a community has been deeply meaningful. It's a place to come together, connect, and feel okay in moments where a lot may not feel that way. At Church Council, we've also started reflecting. We've used a Toni Morrison quote, "Dream a little before you think," to start dreaming about where we may be heading as a community as we look towards in the next several years celebrating our 350th anniversary as a place of worship. In those conversations, we've decided that this is something we'd really like to broaden those conversations to the rest of our Circular community. So I'm inviting you to join us. What that will look like is starting after Easter, we will, between the end of April and early June, we'll have time after worship during the coffee hour to gather and reflect on some questions about what's been great about who we have been as a community, the moment we're in now, and where we want to be heading in the next several years. From those conversations through end of April into June, we'll take a bit of break over the summer. Then in August, September, we will start to formulate what we've heard into some key intentions or goals that can guide us in the years ahead. And then that will be followed in October, November with some concrete plans that can help us move in that direction. So when that's happening, I'm also thinking more immediately of how we can be a place of worship that welcomes everyone wherever they are on life's journey now, and out there as a voice in the community. Right now, as I speak, there's opportunities to do that in Gadsden Creek tomorrow. There are protests happening in the city tomorrow as well. And so looking ahead, there's also the Nehemiah Action at Cajun. So there are plenty of opportunities to be a safe and inclusive community on campus and online, and also share our voice in the community, and would invite you to do that as well. Of course, it's also a very important time for us with Holy Week right around the corner. There's some really wonderful things planned. We've had such good music. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the time we have together in community in a really special Holy Week and Easter service. We also are going to talk about where we are financially. I'll turn it over to our treasurer, Kim, who's doing a fantastic job. And I think the highlight for me is we're really grateful for the commitments towards the pledges we've received, and we're not quite there yet. And getting all of 100% of those pledges and a regular giving in will really help us continue to be confident in what we can offer as a Circular community. Over to you, Kim.
Thanks, Jared. Hello, Circular family and friends. My name is Kim Harvey, and I'm honored to serve as the church's treasurer. As you know, Circular is a progressive, inclusive community where all are welcome. To support that mission, we built a budget last year based on the pledges that we received for the 2025 calendar. In order to fulfill our aspirations for this year's programming, we need to ensure pledges continue to arrive and our budgeted income is met or exceeded. In addition to pledges, our beautiful historic church can be rented as a venue for weddings, community events, musical performances, tours, and other occasions. And as always, our committee lead and staff continue to be good stewards of spending and just plain creative in avoiding spending wherever possible. Through this diligence, our expenses have trended below budget so far this year. But as you can imagine, maintaining a 300-year-old church takes time, care, and money. And unfortunately, we anticipate some large expenses coming related to our facility, its preservation and maintenance. Specifically, many of you know our elevator has not been in operation for some time, and to meet our promise of inclusion and accessibility for all, this is a non-negotiable repair that will come with a large price tag. Now for some numbers for the first quarter. Through the first quarter of 2025, our income was about $206,000 versus a budget of $231,000. So we're at about 90% of anticipated giving. While the gap of $25,000 in 3 months isn't huge, we need to see that gap shrink versus grow in the coming months. Contrast our income for the first quarter with expenses. Expenses totaled $192,000. This is a bit under 84% of our budgeted expense. If we had spent the anticipated rate, we would have a budget deficit, which would not be great. So my closing thoughts for the first quarter. We avoided that budget deficit through reduced spending. However, we need to ensure our pledged commitments are met so we can spend our full budget against the good works we have planned. Thank you for listening, and have a blessed day.